Welcome to Unity in Marin's morning meditation. This is a time to be quiet within, to listen for divine guidance, to feel your connection with Divine Spirit. May you find peace within. May you take the silence that you experienced with you today throughout your weeks ahead. If you have anything that came up for you that you would like to pray about, please find a prayer chaplain after service today. If you're on live stream, you can go to the website, request a prayer, and a prayer chaplain will respond to you. Service will start in 10 minutes.
fabulous band, everybody. Oh, good morning. Good morning, everyone. How are we doing on this Labor Day weekend morning? Good? I'm Reverend Deanne Morency. I'm the senior minister here at Unity in Marin. And I just realized I need my clicker because my wife is still at home today. So if we can just send her a lot of healing love, that would be awesome. She's doing great, actually, but she still needs time to recuperate. Oh. So if you're joining us on the live stream, we're glad that you're with us. I know that there will be a lot of people watching this during the week from YouTube, so welcome whenever you're accessing this. Unity in Marin is a community that is anchored in love, anchored in the awareness that there is always something else possible. No matter what it may look like, no matter how daunting or how challenging or how frightening even life can be, that there is this capacity within each of us that can allow us to show up in a different way. And we do that not just for ourselves, but we really do that for each other. And today we're really going to focus on that aspect of how we get to be in service to each other. That place as we celebrate Labor Day, the work that we do, the work we do within, the work we do with each other, and that work is truly a labor of love. It's an opportunity to really show up for each other. So I'm so glad that you're all here with me today. We also have an affirmative prayer for the presidential election, which was created by our prayer chaplains. And so you each have a copy in your bulletin, and the invitation is for us as a community to really anchor this. And the invitation is to join the prayer chaplains in that field of consciousness twice a day, at 9 a.m. and at 9 p.m. And I'm also going to say there's no time or space in God, so if you don't get to it until 10 a.m., that's just fine, right? And if you do it before you go to bed at midnight, that's just fine. The idea is that we're coming together in agreement around our values, around what's important to us. So I'd like to start by having us just read this together. As we hold the highest vision for the United States and its place in the world, all concerns gently fall away. Centered in the awareness of unity, we see our country in harmony and cooperation during this election cycle. I affirm wisdom, order, and peace for our nation. And so it is. Amen. So I'm going to invite Carolyn Gauthier to come on up. The invitation through this entire song is to really allow yourself to be here in this very room, letting go of whatever it is that might be going on out there. We're going to create a container of love right here.
Take a deep breath with me. And relax into your chair. Put your feet flat on the floor and just, as you are feeling comfortable, open your mouth and sing. In this very room, there's quite enough love for one like me. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for one like me, and there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For Spirit, sweet Spirit, is in this very room. And in this very room, there's quite enough love for all of us. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all of us. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For Spirit, sweet Spirit, is in this very room. In this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For Spirit, sweet Spirit, is in this very room.
So we keep breathing into this space that we're creating. And we're going to do a special blessing of the hands today. I want everyone to just look at your hands. Just take a moment to think about all that they do. They do so much. They hold things for us. They touch other people. They're capable of bringing comfort and compassion to ourselves. Everyone, just place your hands on your heart for a moment and breathe into that. And then bring into your mind's eye someone that you love and just feel your arms encircling them right now. Your hands bringing love and light. And as each of us came into the sanctuary, you were given a little hand lotion. And there's a little prayer on it. And so as you just look at your hands, just take this in. Blessing these hands and all the work that they do. Anchoring peace, opening with love, guiding, supporting, healing, and soothing. Thank you for all that you do. Everyone just thank your hands right now. Say thank you for all that you do. So I'm going to invite the prayer chaplains to rise right now. I'm going to invite Elizabeth Drew to come forward with our prayer box. And I'm going to invite anyone who feels like they're anchoring consciousness for the world to join the prayer chaplains as we circle the community, creating a container of love and light, possibility. As we step into this sacred field, or just continue to step into this sacred field of love more deeply. opening our hands, knowing that they can hold so much more than we think they can, opening our heart, opening our mind. And in this moment, we recognize that one power and that one presence that is love. All that there is love. The very blueprint of life itself is love. And I know that this power and this presence is one power, one presence. So it is also my life. It is the life of each person here. It is the life of all who are watching on the live stream. It is the life that is all that is alive. And as we embrace this consciousness of oneness, no separation, it is from this consciousness that I bless this time right here and right now. It is from this consciousness that releasing, the invitation is to just release whatever you might be carrying on your heart. Whatever concerns or worry you have, just place them into this container of infinite love. And I see and I know that as we anchor this love for ourselves and for each other, that possibility arises. I see and I know divine health and wholeness is available right now. Divine employment, divine housing, divine furniture, whatever it is that you are saying yes to, I can see and know that that is arising. Whatever it is that you need to be or do or become is arising within each of us right now. And the invitation is to just say yes, to open our hearts, to feel ourselves connected with each person in this very room, to feel that love overflowing and spilling outward, enveloping this planet in a field of grace and light and love. How good it is to just say yes and to know that in our willingness, a way is made out of seeming no way. In gratitude for this and so much more beyond words, I do give thanks. And in agreement, I invite you to say with me, and so it is. Amen. Ashe. Thank you, everyone. You may be seated. I'm going to invite the fabulous Clay David to come forward with our inspirational reading for today. If you didn't catch last week's West Side Story, I highly suggest that you check it out on YouTube. Clay, you did an incredible job. The entire choir did an incredible job. Like, whoo, it's amazing.
Thank you. Good morning, Unity. Well, it is now time for our inspirational reading. Today's reading is from Unity's newest booklet, 30 Days of Living with Intention. Today I am. And allow these words to become part of your morning reflection, your morning meditation, or prayer. I invite you in this moment to take a deep breath and to pause and to close your eyes if you wish. I invite you to let these words become your words. The affirmation for today is, today I am enthusiastic. Enthusiasm feels like Christmas morning. When we are enthusiastic, we exude positive energy and joy. It takes us back to the playfulness of childhood, the belief that anything is possible. We carry that zest for life into our everyday adult world, into our work life, our home life, and especially our relationships. What a tremendous difference a dose of enthusiasm can make on a flagging relationship. It brings with it a joy that bubbles forth effortlessly and cannot be ignored. Enthusiasm and zeal share a kinship. Zeal is one of the 12 inner divine powers identified by Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore, who defined it as intensity, ardor, enthusiasm, the inward fire of the soul. At age 93, Fillmore said, "I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm and spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me." And once we experience that fire of the soul, then anything, absolutely anything, can be accomplished with a good heaping dose of enthusiasm. So once again, the affirmation for today is, today I am enthusiastic. Please know this with me. Today I am enthusiastic. Woohoo! Thank you, and so it is.
That clay is a tough act to follow. I love that quote. I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm. Good morning, Unity. Nice to see you all today. And I'll go through some brief announcements here. We are all part of the welcome team, right? If you see anyone you don't recognize here, please step up and say hello to them. Let them know who you are and how much you're happy to see them here. And if you're a first-time guest, please greet us out in the courtyard. There is a Unity table there, and you could chat us up and get involved in conversations. And there's also some food. That's hospitality for later. You can connect with text on your phone. Believe that we use technology here in wonderful ways. Text WELCOME to 415-991-7111. And Reverend Deanne will get a message, and she'll respond to you and say hello, and we look forward to connecting you that way. Also, please follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Threads, which is the newest social media networking. And it's a nice way to connect with people beyond our community, but also to connect within the community. So please join us there at Unity in Marin. And spiritual connection card, you've seen this before, or maybe not. There is a little card in the back of the program here handed out today, and you could tear that off, fill that out, let us know who you are, what's on your mind. There's an opportunity later to put that in the collection basket for any prayer or concern you'd like to have covered by our prayer community here. And that happens for 60 days in our prayer support community, a lovely opportunity to be held in love and light. There are upcoming events coming up. New member class next Sunday. I'll talk about that later. Fall book study. We'll talk about that later. World Day of Prayer coming up. Silent auction, support circle, silent auction platform training, many, many things. But let's get into thanking our flower sponsors today. It was Unity in Marin. Thank you all. You all sponsored flowers for the day in honor of all those who serve and share their labor of love in our Communities, and Pamela Cavana did the arranging. So lovely. Hospitality and flower sponsorships, so we still have some blank slots in the sponsorship. Please see Charcel here in the courtyard after services, and Reverend Deanne.
Each week, we like to honor and spotlight someone who has been in sacred service here at Unity in Marin, because that is how we exist, honestly. It's through the service and the way that we all get to show up in order to make Sunday service happen, to make our programming happen. And so today, we're going to be honoring Anne Pirelli. Anne, can you stand up, please, so we can give you some love? Anne shows up in so many ways in service to this community, and she just deserves to have some love and appreciation. So thank you, Anne. Yeah. This being of service piece is what's my whole talk is going to be about it. Everybody ready for that? But before we do that, we have the fabulous Dallas Craft in the house. Can we please give her some love?
A change for once in my life. It's gonna feel real good, gonna make a difference, gonna make it right. As I turn up the collar on my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind. I see kids in the street with not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their needs? Summer disregard, a broken bottle top, and a one-man soul. They follow each other on the wind, you know, 'cause they got nowhere to go. That's why I want you to know I'm talking with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his way. No message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. Na 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 na. Ooh, I've been a victim of a selfish kind of love. It's time that I realize that there are some with no home, not a nickel to loan. Could it be really me, pretending that they're not alone? A willow deeply scarred, somebody's broken heart, and a washed out dream. They follow the pattern of the wind, you see, 'cause they got no place to be. That's why I'm starting with me. I'm talking with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. No message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. I'm talking to the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. No message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. I'm talking with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. No message could have been any clearer. If you want to yourself and then make a change. You better do it right while you got the time, because when you lose your heart, then you close your mind. Talking with the man in the mirror, I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. Na 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 na. Ooh, ooh, na 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 na. Ooh, make a change. Thank you, monks.
How many of us do that? Take a look in the mirror. But do we do it with compassion and kindness? Or do we do it with that judgmental voice? All right? There's this delicate balance that we're always inviting ourselves to walk, right? We're being invited to continue to understand who we are and to grow and to allow ourselves to show up in a different way. And yet, we also have to balance that with compassion. Because if we are always looking in that mirror and all we're seeing are our flaws, anybody in here guilty of that? Then we don't feel as if we have the capacity to change. Can you feel that? That when we focus so much on what we're not, it prevents us from becoming who we actually are. And so there's this delicate balance where we're being asked to be self-aware, and yet we're also being asked to be compassionate about where we are. And I would call this a labor of love. I would call this space where we say, often you hear people say, you got to do the work. You got to do the work. And all of us sometimes think about work as being something that, we go to our job and we think about that being work. We have to take out the garbage and that's work, right? And what I want to invite us into is this idea of work as a spiritual calling. Work as a spiritual calling. So that it's not about a means to an end. It's not about accomplishing something. It's actually about how we are being invited to express our unique gifts and our talents. Michael Beckwith, when he talks about having our structures stable in our lives, he always talks about work as not being how we earn money, but work is where we are our most creative. Everyone breathe into that for a second. Because when we make work a spiritual calling, it means that we're inviting love in. And then work is actually a sacred act. It's something that has a holiness to it, whole, meaning whole. There's a wholeness to it. And that is what enables us to step out into a path of service to the world, right? And I really want to be clear that when we talk about service, it's not about what you do in the world. We're talking about the consciousness that you bring to all that you do. I had a friend when I was in practitioner training, Anastasia, and she was a trader on the stock market in gold. Now, I don't know if you know what that scene is like, but it is every day on the floor, people screaming and yelling and throwing, sell, sell, buy, buy, sell, sell, buy. I mean, you see those things on the movie where it's sort of chaos. That was her daily experience. And yet she was bringing the consciousness of her understanding of wholeness to what it was that she was doing every day. She was changing the experience, not just for herself, but all of the people that she was on the floor with were like, I feel energized at the end of the day rather than exhausted. Because she was bringing something to the work. And it almost feels antithetical, right? Oh, I'm going to bring my spiritual practice of stillness and oneness and love to the stock floor. But this is what we're invited into. We're invited into bringing love into the places that feel as if they're outside of love. And I love this quote from Winston Churchill: we make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. And I used this a couple weeks ago, and I want to dive into this a little bit more, because there is a big difference in consciousness between giving to get and getting to give. Can you feel that? And we've all interacted with people that we know, and we've done it ourselves, because, we're not separate from anything, where we are giving of ourselves with an ulterior motive of getting something back. Now, the something we get back may be our own sense of pride and accomplishment. The something we get back might be that down the road, we're going to call in that favor. Anytime you hear yourself saying, I've showed up for that person so many times, and they never show up for me. Giving to get. And we can feel that. You can feel when somebody is giving you something because they want something from you, yes? We can feel the energy of that. So what if we're actually in the consciousness of getting to give? That anything that we get in life is not ours, but it is moving through us to be able to share it in a new and transformed way with others in the world. What if everything that you are getting is actually for you to give back to the world in some new and creative way? So this is where the creativity comes in. What am I getting to give? Can you feel how that shift in consciousness creates a completely different mindset? And you can feel those people that they just show up and there is nothing they need in return. They are just showing up. That's the space that I want to invite us into. Because what service does is it really embodies the principles of oneness, right? Like there's no separation. If I'm in service to you, to the greater community, to the greater world, I'm actually still in service to myself. But I'm focused on the interconnectedness of us all. I'm focused on how we're actually a part, an individualized piece of this great tapestry that is life itself. Mahatma Gandhi says, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. So wherever it is in your life that you're like, I don't know who I am in this. It's an invitation to be in service. Because it's through our interactions with each other and with the world that we actually have the truth of who we are reflected back to us. But if that reflection is distorted by a sense of, what am I going to get? What am I going to get? Then we're not seeing truth. We're seeing a distortion of who we are and a distortion of who everyone around us is. So the invitation is to move from me to we, right? To move from this egoic sense of self to the fullness of our divine nature. And that invites us to be the embodiment of love in action. And if I had to narrow down what unity is all about in like one sentence, which trust me is really hard to do, I would say that we are being invited to be the embodiment of love in action. And everything we teach and all of our spiritual practices are all about creating the space so that we can embody the truth of who we are more fully and more powerfully and more joyfully and more freely. So what that asks of us, if we're going to move from me to we, is that we have to commit to the reality of oneness. We are so committed to the reality of duality. We have to commit to the reality of oneness. And that means that the thing you see or the person you recognize that just doesn't feel like it has anything to do with you at all. Our political situation in the United States is a perfect example right now. It's not real. It's not real. There is no separation. There is no exceptions. Whichever side of the spectrum you fall on, the other side of the spectrum is not an exception. When we're the embodiment of love in action, we get to actually live more fully into our values. What do you actually value? What is important to you? Is community important to you? Can you live into that? Is freedom important to you? Can you live into that? Is joy important to you? That's one of my top values. How do you live into that? And you have to be willing to grow. And this is the place where we get stuck. We want everyone else around us to change, and we want to stay exactly the same. But we're all evolving and growing. So we have to be willing to grow past whatever it is that we're thinking is true. We cannot grasp the allness of truth. We can catch a glimpse of it. We can catch a hint of it. We can catch a corner of it. So from that corner, from that glimpse, are you willing to catch another glimpse of it? Are you willing to see something more of what there is for you? And that means that we have to step out of our comfort zone. And that makes us very uncomfortable. But we have to step out of our bubbles. I honestly think that where we are in the American political landscape is because of the bubbles that we are all in. Self-referential bubbles. Because what we're being invited to be is a space of inner and outer transformation. We're being invited to do the inner work, the labor of love that's inner, and then we're also invited to do the outer work. And I think that's the hardest part, to really step into time and in space in a new way. Because all of this is just about expanding your capacity for love. Can you feel that? That you have to grow in your capacity for love. So Mother Teresa, it's not how much we give, but how much love we put into giving. We know only too well that what we are doing is nothing more than a drop in the ocean. But if the drop were not there, the ocean would be missing something. Because I don't know about you, but it's overwhelming sometimes, yes? Like little old me, and it's never little old me. We are a divine being. We want to access the wholeness that we are. And yet, we are not all built to be Mother Teresa. That's not necessarily our divine purpose. But does that make your divine purpose any less valid, any less impactful, any less important? No, but we diminish it. We think, oh, you know, what am I going to do? I'm going to go knock on a few doors, or I'm going to pass around a petition, or it's not really going to change anything. Well, guess what? That is a self-affirming prophecy. We are being invited to step into something more because there's a collective impact at work here, right? Our advocacy, our support, our actions, they have far-reaching impact that you may never see. You may never actually see it because it might have a far-reaching impact 20 years from now. Right? You may never see it. Does that make it less valid? Does that make it less important? No. So consistent, small acts of love and commitment contribute to a larger shared vision of a more just, compassionate, and equitable world. The key word in there, consistent. Consistent. It's not a one-off. It's not, oh, I did that one thing. It's that consistency, because can you feel how that's our practice? The consistency, having the discipline, having the devotion, having the follow through, right? To be able to consistently show up with small acts of love and commitment. And when we're operating from an awareness of love, those small acts of love and commitment actually rejuvenate us. They don't drain us. When we're operating from the wholeness that we are, not from our fear, not from our doubt, not from our anxiety, not from our worry, we actually are resourced continually. But when we're choosing from fear, we get run down and tired. When we're choosing from our worry and our anxiety, even if it's meant with the best of intentions, right? Somebody tells you something that they're going through, and that worry for them rises up within you. The work that we get to do, that inner work we get to do, is to say, my growth right here. I am going to see this person as whole. I am going to know that they have the capacity to navigate all of this, even if they don't think so. And when we reflect that back to people, that is when they are transformed. We've talked a lot about breaking up the victim, rescuer, persecutor triangle here, right? Can you feel how when I see your wholeness, I have immediately broken the triangle? If I see that you somehow don't have enough to navigate this, what am I going to want to do? Rescue, right? I'm going to want to step in and make it all okay for you. That is not what we want to engage with. We want to know our wholeness and the wholeness that is everyone around us. And they may not like that. They may not like that. Has everyone in here had a moment in their life where you wanted to be rescued? I have. Right? Please rescue me. Please solve this for me. Please make this go away. Please make it okay because I'm overwhelmed. But the most impactful experience I ever had was coming to a prayer chaplain with full-on victim consciousness and having them meet me with my wholeness. It was like a cold plunge. It just shocked my entire system. And it took time for me to learn how to live into it, but it woke me up. And I was loved on my journey from victim to creator. I was loved by everyone. I remember once somebody was reading Palms at Agape, And she was like, oh yeah, I can show you your divine purpose line. I don't know anything about it, so I'm sure I'm garbling this completely. And I said to her in complete honesty, I don't have a divine purpose. Because that's how I felt. I felt so lost that I didn't know what I was doing or why I was even here. And she just looked at me and patted my hand and she said, there are no exceptions. And I was like, because, we like our victim consciousness, right? Fix it for me. Tell me my divine purpose, right? Solve this for me. She didn't even engage with me on that level. Notice for yourself how you show up for the people around you. Are you trying to solve their problems? Are you trying to fix it for them? Because that's not your job. Our job is to show up and see and know the love that everyone is. To reflect that back to them again and again and again and again. And I am living proof that that gorgeous reflection of wholeness shatters any opposition to the truth of who we actually are. Because we have a global responsibility too, right? So our sphere isn't just our home or our community, but it is the entire friggin' planet. Can everybody just breathe into that with me? There is nothing happening on this planet that is not part of our responsibility. And by responsibility, I mean the roots of those words. Able to respond. We are able to respond. But if we're coming from fear and lack and not enoughness, then it just feels like work without the love. But if we're coming from wholeness, then we are constantly resourced and renewed. And the biggest piece around this is that we have to educate ourselves. We have to get out of our bubbles. We have to challenge ourselves. For me, TikTok is how I do that. I have all kinds of creators on TikTok that I'm like, wow. And the minute I feel myself sort of going, I'm like, put that person add them into my scroll. Because the things that challenge me are how I get to grow my understanding of what other people are experiencing. How many people in here know what's happening in the Congo right now? Genocide on a level that is just unimaginable. I would not have known that if I hadn't been finding people on TikTok that allow me to have a better understanding of what people here in the United States, the pain that the community is in right now. We cannot separate ourselves from any of this. And I know it's hard. I know it hurts. But this is why I call it a labor of love. Because with love, truly all things are possible. And so we have to keep opening ourselves up. We have to keep challenging our assumptions about what the world is and how it works and what it looks like. We have to be willing to act from a place of empathy and compassion and courage. And sometimes it doesn't even matter if you don't get it. Just accept it. Does that make sense? If you're struggling with pronouns, it doesn't matter if you get it or you don't get it. It just means be respectful because that's what this person has said they want to be called. Is it really that hard? It's actually not. The only thing that gets in the way of that is the story we create, our own attachment to our own narrative, and the desire to force everybody into our narrative. Would you want to be forced into somebody else's narrative? I mean, this is what we're talking about, the wholeness that we are. There are no pronouns in God, folks. I mean, it's true. So can we, in our human existence, can we be respectful? I mean, does it really cost us that much? I'm seeing, because, there's a lot of conversation going on right now about gender-neutral bathrooms. And, my favorite response to that was somebody was like, has anybody here ever used a gender-neutral bathroom? And somebody was like, haven't you used one at home? I mean, we all have gender-neutral bathrooms at home. But we've created this narrative that all it does is disrupt. All it does is create otherness, right? Can we grow beyond that? It's part of what we're responsible for. So here's the hardest part of it all. We can sit here and we can listen and we can go, oh yeah, that's a great idea. And then we go around, I'm guilty of it too, go out into the world and do exactly the same things I've always been doing. So the first one, in terms of how we can practice this, is first and foremost, you just have to show up in the world. I know it's a scary place sometimes, but if we don't show up with our understanding of love and interconnectedness, if we don't show up with people, with the awareness of people's wholeness, if we're hiding that truth because we're too uncomfortable to engage the world that wants to say, no, you are other. If we are too uncomfortable to do that, well then, guess what? The world isn't going to change. There's no magic wand that all of a sudden elevated consciousness of wholeness and oneness is just going to descend on everyone. It has to happen through us. So we have to educate ourselves. We have to be, the things that trigger you, that's where you need to go educate yourself. If you're like, well, whatever triggers you, you're seeing unhoused people on the street, that triggers you, go do some research. Go educate yourself about what that is and how that problem is so tenacious and what is actually happening and how people are trying to solve it. If we don't educate ourselves, we are literally remaining part of the problem. And then we actually have to volunteer. We actually have to show up. You actually have to sign up for something. I know, post-COVID, nobody wants to sign up for anything. We have to show up. We have to step out, even if it makes us uncomfortable. I know that we got a lot of introverts in this community, and I know that talking to random strangers can be absolutely, literally terrifying. Can that be part of your practice? Can that be part of how you get to grow? This person who I'm interacting with isn't separate from me. This person who I'm interacting with is me. Can we learn how to quiet whatever anxiety and fears are arising? And we have to be an advocate for change. We have to continually say yes to change, because as I say, shift or get dragged. Change is inevitable. It is going to happen. So if you are resisting it, you will just get dragged along. We have to be an advocate for change. This is a place of empowerment when we're advocating for change. When we get dragged by change, guess what? We're a victim. Look what the world has done. How many times have we said, look what the world has become? I see myself. I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting so old. I'm like, back in my day, and I stop myself. I'm like, no. This world is a better place than it was back in my day. It is. Are we free of problems and ills? Of course not. But this world is absolutely a better place than it was from back in my day. And then the biggest piece is we have to grow and build relationships outside of our little sphere. We have to reach out and create connection with people that we might not normally hang out with. We have to be willing to step into that place. I used to work for Ginny Mancini, Henry Mancini's widow, and she was an incredible woman. She really was. And the thing that impressed me about her, amongst so many other things, was she was 86 or so when I was working for her. She was in her 80s. And she had friends across every generation. She hung out with 18-year-olds and she hung out with 98-year-olds. She had this entire gamut of community that she interacted with that was constantly forcing her to reevaluate, to grow, to shift, to understand something in a new way. This is the place where we get to be in service. Do you see how when we show up for others, they're also showing up for us? It's this reciprocity. And then through it all, we get to anchor love. We get to meditate. We get to practice affirmative prayer. We get to be self-aware and notice what's arising within us, and when we're being reactive, and we do a quantum living worksheet so that we can grow and change in a new way. And then the last piece is that we have to devote ourselves to being in service. We have to make it a priority. Is it a priority in your life? Where does it fall in the scale of your priorities? And if nothing else, just do something, right? Something, anything, do something. Because this is the only way that we are going to create a world that truly works for everyone. So we have Charles's quote, which I don't know anything about zeal whatsoever. And when I first read this quote, I was like, oh, wow, I love Charles. I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm and spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me. So there's discernment in here. All the ills of the world do not rest on your shoulders. But the things that are yours to do, and you know what they are yours to do. They are yours to be. And that zeal and that enthusiasm. So you know how I said you need to be devoted to being of service? Devotion is one of the aspects of zeal. Can you feel how those link up? If you're enthusiastic, if you have a lot of energy, then you can be devoted to something. And that's that commitment piece. And that is what we are all being invited into, to be the place where change and transformation is actually happening, both within us and in the world. And that we welcome the labor of love, that we welcome it, because that is what makes us an active participant in the evolution of consciousness. Shift or get dragged. It's really up to you. But if we enter into it with devotion and zeal and enthusiasm and love, there is nothing that is not possible. So let's take this into a time of meditation, shall we? And we started this service by just looking at our hands, and I just want you to look at your hands again. Because these hands are here for a purpose. You exist in time and space for a reason. How open are your hands? How open is your heart? So as we just close our eyes and breathe into this space that is love and infinite potential, just allowing whatever is surfacing for you to just rise up. The resistance, the enthusiasm, just allowing it all to be present. Maybe there's some fear or worry. Maybe there's some excitement, energy. And just allow it to all be right now. We can hold multitudes. We can hold all of it. As we breathe and we quiet, As we feel our hands, maybe within a hand of our own, just knowing that it is through our yes, through our willingness to evolve and grow, that the world is transformed. So let's just rest here for a few minutes with the open-ended question of what is mine to do? What is mine to do? And as we continue to listen to what is ours to do, I just would like you to set an intention for yourself right now. That you will keep listening to how you are called to show up in the world. And in this moment, I want to invite you to just concretely one thing that you are going to do. One small, committed act of love. And just see yourself following through on that act of love. See yourself being impassioned and enthusiastic, and allow yourself to feel the support that is the truth of your life for any way that you are going to step out and show up in the world. And just opening our heart in gratitude for the wisdom that we are, for the love that we are, for the hands that we are. Knowing that we truly are here to sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm. With a mighty spring stepping forward in faith to do the things that should be done by us. And so it is. Amen. Ashe. And our affirmation for today. Today, I am enthusiastic. Can we all know this together? All right, one more time, and let's really be enthusiastic. 1, 2, 3. And so it is. Dallas.
I really needed that talk. That was a good one. Sometimes I just wanna close my eyes and act like everyone's when they know they're not. This world needs God, but it's easier to stand and watch. I could say a prayer and just move on, like nothing's wrong. But I refuse. I don't want to live like I don't care. I don't want to say another empty prayer. Oh, I refuse to sit around and wait for someone else to do what God has called me to do myself. Oh, I could choose not to move, but I refuse. The least of these, crying out so desperately. No, we are the hands and feet of you, oh God. You say move, it's time for me to follow through and do what I was made to do. Show them who you are. I don't want to live like I don't care. I don't want to say another empty prayer. Oh, I refuse to come to myself. Oh, I got to do myself. Oh, I could choose not to move, but I refuse to stand and watch the weary and lost cry out for help. I refuse to turn my back and try to act like all is well. I refuse to stay unchanged, to wait another day, to die to myself, 'cause I refuse to make one more excuse. I don't want to live like I don't care. I don't want to say another empty prayer. Oh, I refuse to sit around and wait for someone else to do what God has called me to do myself. Oh, I could choose not to move, but I refuse. I refuse. I refuse. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dallas. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Paul and Kevin, Renegade Monks. Thank you, Reverend Deanne. You packed a lot in there and gave us a lot to think about. There's a quote that goes something like, anyone who thinks they're too small to change the world, to make a difference in the world, has never tried to sleep with a mosquito in the room. And we had a great turnout last night at the Pride and Joy event around the corner here. I want to give a shout out to Carolyn Gauthier for organizing that and making that reality. There is a book study coming up, and we have the books in the bookstore. Thank you, Christine. She always lets me know that there's a book, and to buy them from the Unity Bookstore. Back there. I'm looking forward to reading this book. I'm also going to be doing one of the facilitation programs. We need some facilitators, so if you're intrigued, inspired, terrified, sign up to imagine the world. That's what we're going to do. We're going to imagine the world into being. The Heritage Corner campaign is our capital campaign for the year. There's still time. We have one more month, and we are hoping for the generosity of this community to shine forth and support the community and put something in stone, your message to this community. And that is, you know where the corner is, right? All right. Thank you. There's a picture of some of the other stones we've had there. And in a moment, we'll have the ushers come forward for the opportunity to settle into the experience of receiving and giving and giving and receiving, receiving and giving. And there are many ways to give in this community, through the Church Center app on your phone, through the QR code for those live streaming that's on the screen right now. There's an envelope in the bulletin, and you can mail a check, cash, all to 600 Palm Drive here in Novato, California, 94949. And I think I held up that spiritual connection card before. Here it is again. You can fill that out and put that in the collection basket. And well, just a second. The offering affirmation for today is, I am the power of abundance, giving and receiving gratefully. So take a moment and hold your offering in your hand and just know that from your heart to the heart of this community, goodness flows. Will the ushers come forward, please? And more music.
Love is but a song to sing, fear's the way we die. You can make the mountains rain, or make the angels cry. Though the bird is on the wing, you may not know why. Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try and love one another right now. Some may come and some may go, we will surely pass. When the one that left us here returns for us at last, we are but a moment's sunlight fading in the grass. Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Come on. if you hear the song I sing, you will understand. You hold the key to love and fear, all in your trembling hand. Just one key unlocks them both. It's here at your command. Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try and love one another right now. Oh, come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Oh, one more time. Come on, people now, smile on your brother. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Right now. Right now. Monks.
Thank you, thank you. New member class is next Sunday. If you want to sign up, please do so by Wednesday. And there's a light sign up. Yeah, there's not very many people signed up just yet. So there's a chance it will be postponed. That's a small number.
Which, if we need to postpone it, we can. I just need to know what's happening. So if you are interested in taking the class and finding out more about Unity, please do register, and we'll have the class. But if we need to postpone it a little bit later, I know it's a busy time for people, we can do that too, okay?
That's what I meant to say. The Wednesday after next Sunday is the Unity World Day of Prayer, and there'll be a vigil here in the afternoon, in the evening. There's a labyrinth that can be walked, and the sanctuary will be open from about 7 till closing time, and then it will reopen in the morning at 6 a.m. But we would like people to sign up to be part of the vigil, which can be held in your own home. Just let us know approximately what time you're going to be. And Kathleen, where are you? There she is. Kathleen is the keeper of the sign-up sheet, but you can talk to any chaplain about that. And that's a wonderful opportunity to walk through a labyrinth. It's a beautiful experience, actually. Right? We love that. Diamond Jubilee online auction is in formation. Thank you to Monica, Nancy, and Lucille for organizing that. You can go onto our website and find the link for that and check out what's up for auction. The auction will actually go live on September 13th. And if you would like some guidance on how to work the auction platform, might be a little confusing technology-wise, there'll be some trainings on that on the 15th and the 22nd. And would the Unity Prayer Chaplains please rise? What a powerful group of women we have here today. Yay, prayer chaplains, please seek them out in the sanctuary after services if you have a prayer concern or a celebration you'd like to bring forth into spirit. And are there children present? Creative art space? Yes, look at that. Say the word, the door opens.
We have a blessing that we say for the children, and even though they're off enjoying their Labor Day weekend, I'm going to invite everyone to stand. We're going to extend our hands and our heart. We're going to hold the youth of this community, the youth that we are inside ourselves, and the youth of the world as we know this together. You are the perfect expression of divine light. We love you exactly the way you are, and so it is.
So, The community song.
No, we're doing the community song.
Okay, right.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. 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 Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. 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 I'm so grateful.
Happy Sunday, everybody. I'll be over here by the door. Please join us for hospitality in the courtyard.
Thank you. Thank you guys. All right. You got this.